Thank you very much for joining in. Lulu, Afreen, Ajay, Stoneboy, Lee, Bilal Khan, Saif Sheikh, Salim, Fahim, Design, FT Global Properties. Everybody is joining in. Thank you very much. Guys, today, the plan is we're going to be sharing some client success stories, some clients who've done very well working with us. Thank you very much for joining in. Then I'm going to also be sharing with you guys some things with regards to how to map out your success story, how to map up your something really hit me the other day. I was listening to somebody. Now I don't remember who it was, but I'm going to quote that person, okay? And I'm going to talk about how to become a master. Sometimes you've got to be the fool, okay? Guys, if you've got questions, any kind of questions, I'm always available. I will answer your questions live on here. I think I've got some questions on Instagram as well, by the way, Anu. Some questions that came up. Maybe you can post them over here and I can answer. All right, guys, listen. Just a quick one, all right? I heard this the other day somewhere, and somebody was saying, like, to become a master, you've got to start as a fool. And that really started me thinking, like, because nobody wants to appear to be a fool. Everybody wants to be the master, but nobody wants to start as a fool. But then it got me started to think, like, what does this mean? And then I reflected on my journey, both in real estate and outside, and I realized, yes, that is true. You know, you've got to actually start as a fool sometimes. Kasra, hi, how are you guys? You got questions? Please put them in there. Her name is Gab Okmin Asham Khajani. Sorry guys if I mispronounce your name. Hello to everybody. If you got questions, please put them down there and I'll be more than happy to answer, okay? Both on YouTube or Instagram. And if I miss your question, just kindly repeat it. Like sometimes I've missed your question because it just goes up because of other people asking questions. And if I do, just ask me again. Guys, so to become the master, start as the fool. Now, I'm going to share with you a story of my personal self, okay? Back in 2005, I'd graduated university. Now, some of you might know this, some of you might not know this. I went to a top business school in Canada, in Toronto. Like, to get into this business school was a big deal. Like, I kind of got in because of God's grace, totally because of God's grace and His mercy and beneficence. But once I got in there, I realized that I was amongst like an elite students who always scored above 92, 93% in there, you know, whatever they had, the equivalent of high school in Canada. So when I was there, I realized, okay, this is some kind of elite school, business school. And I knew it was one of the top business schools in Canada. It was called Schulich School of Business. It was at York University in Toronto. Anyways, I spent about 5 years. I'm one of those guys who took 5 years to finish my degree, which was supposed to be only 4 years because, you know, I was working and, you know, doing all sorts of other adventurous stuff. And it took me just longer. But after I graduated business school, I started going into the real world and started working, you know. Now when I look back, yeah, you know, it's been like 5, 10, 18 years. When I look back, I realize when I entered the business world, I was pretty much the fool. Like, I didn't know a lot. Like, I remember, so I did some work initially with a lot of startups. And in a startup, you're kind of like wearing a lot of hats. I didn't go through the multinational corporate route. I went to startups, learned a lot. But because you're wearing a lot of hats, you're doing a lot of things. Sometimes you're working on the brand identity. Sometimes you're working on the sales. Sometimes you're working on the office management, so on and so forth. And I still remember one of my mentors, may God bless him and give him a place in paradise in Jannah. He's passed on now. He worked for IBM for 24 years. So around the world, you know, in Pakistan, in Paris, and so on and so forth. So, you know, his corporate ethos and culture was like right up there. And here I was, fresh graduate out of a business school who thought himself of, you know, I'd done a couple of businesses, dabbled into real estate already. And I thought I was all this myself, right? Oh boy, right? I still remember a couple of things. Like he asked me one time, like, so this was a time when fax machines were kind of getting phased out, but they were like the mainstay of a business for the last 10, 15 years. And I still remember he asked me like, hey, Fahd, can you fill up this RFP and send this to somebody? It was supposed to be Khatija Realtor. Hi. I was supposed to send it to some government organization, and he took a paper. He took that paper and he gave it to me, and he said, "Hey, can you go send a fax?" And I looked back at him. I'd never send a fax. Most of the people in this room have never sent a fax because they're all very young, right? Right? But now, today, I'm not going to expect them to send a fax. I'll just say, "Hey, can you email the person?" But imagine me, imagine if you thought you were so much, and then somebody said, "Hey, can you send an email?" And then you're like, yeah, how do I send an email, right? That's how it was about sending a fax. Halamoy 2130. What question did you ask, Halamoy? I'm going to look for your question, okay? So this goes on. Did you ask a question online? Hey, Halamoy, if you don't mind repeating your question. I'm getting feedback over here. Okay, so you're asking me a question. Is it halal? Yeah, I think it's this one, this phone. Yeah, I see the question. Okay, I got the question. No problem. All right, I'm coming to your question. Let me just finish this story, please. Halamoy. The story is basically be the fool to become the master, right? So I remember he asked me to send a fax. I'm like, I'm going to figure it out. I went to the receptionist, the secretary of the office, and asked her, like, how do I do this? But, made me feel like a fool, but that's okay. And then there was another time when I actually sent an email. Now, for most of you guys, this would be very basic. But back in the day, I sent an email and I addressed the CEO of the company, our own company. But I didn't put him in the to column. I put him in the CC, and in the to, I put somebody else because I was replying to an email. And he called me on a Thursday. This is when weekends used to be Fridays and Saturdays. And he called me on a Thursday, like 5 p.m., like the day was over, and he chewed me out. Like, he's like, "Fahd, what are you doing?" Because obviously, when I sent that email and I addressed him, but I didn't put him in the to, he was right to get pissed off because I was putting the company's image out there, right? And they're thinking, like, who's this guy who works for the CEO and doesn't even know who to address in the email? Now, you guys might think, it's a small mistake. It is a mistake, though. And, you get chewed out sometimes by your senior people because they're your mentors. And I still remember, like, I got so pissed off. Like, for 2 days, I was, like, in a bad mood, like, before I went back to the office. Like, how dare he chew me out? But when I look back now, yeah, I was acting the fool. And it took me a long time. I got basic training on how to send an email the right way to the right person to get the right response by a couple of other people in the startup culture. Like, they really had to train me. And at every single stage, I acted or was the fool until I became better. I'm not going to say master, but I became better at it. Okay, so you asked me a question, man. You guys ask me very interesting questions, but you put me on a spot where I sometimes might not be able to answer you guys, man. Seriously. Why? Halamoy. Salam alaikum. You're asking me a question. The question is it halal? I saw the question here somewhere. Can you answer my question? Okay, question from Halamoy. Okay, how do I get this? Okay, it's right there. Halamoy 2130. Is it halal, the money we make from real estate? I really want to join real estate. I just want to make sure it's halal. Okay, here's the deal. You know what they say? Now, I can imagine you're a Muslim because you use the word halal. Just for those who are uninitiated, halal means pure. Halal means allowed, right? So, for example, in Islam, a halal way of earning a living is to not lie. Generally speaking, not to be involved in interest-based products, not to sell alcohol, gambling, and stuff like this, right? This is the general understanding. And I'm just giving you the general because I'm not a scholar. So this is what he means, like, is it halal to the money we make from real estate, okay? Now, the first other thing about Islamic principles is you've got to go to the people who know what they're doing, right? So when you're asking about halal and haram questions, you've got to ask the scholars who are knowledgeable about that, right? I'm not a scholar. I'm not an Islamic scholar. You guys, when you put Islamic questions to me, I'm not an Islamic scholar. I'm a real estate professional, okay? But I am a Muslim and I operate in the Dubai real estate market, okay? There is, from my perspective, and this is just for me, I'm not giving you the answer. I'm giving you my perspective for myself. There is no harm, from what I know, to help people buy or sell. Where's the volume? Is it this one? But I already. Yeah. Okay. Gone. Okay, so there is no harm from a perspective of providing a service where you are helping people buy or sell a property, and then you're charging a fee. That fee could be 0.5%, 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, 6%. It goes on like it's a commercial transaction. There's no harm in you brokering a transaction. Now, what kind of transaction you're brokering? Are you lying within that transaction? And then it becomes not halal, right? So if you lie to somebody, then it just takes it away. Okay, guys? So become the fool to become the master. So you've got to actually understand, okay, if I do this, is it halal? The way I'm conducting my business, because you know this, right? Sometimes it's not about just the way the industry, but it's also about whatchamacallit. It's also about the way you're doing it. Okay. Question from the stories. Yeah. I got a question. Okay. Different ways. There's a question. Different ways of financing in order to grow the portfolio. Different ways of financing. Okay. Look, there's a couple of ways that come to my mind. Now let's discuss two ways. Okay. There's one where the developers in Dubai are financing what you're buying, right? Because you're on an installment plan. The price is the same whether you take the installment plan or not, okay? Because it's either construction linked or it's time linked. So let's say you're buying a property worth 10 million dirhams and you've got to pay 1 million dirhams every 6 months. I'm just giving you a ballpark example. That 1 million dirhams, because you're paying as the property gets built, let's say the property is going to get built over 4 years, you're paying that 1 million dirhams over 4 years every 6 months. And then there's going to be like a chunk that you pay at the end. So kind of like during construction, the developer financed your property purchase. On the flip side, there's always financing available from Islamic institutions, banks, or regular banks. Okay, there used to be finance houses in Dubai. One was called Tamweel, and the other was called Amlak. I don't know if they're still around. Okay, I think they're not around anymore. The other thing I hope that the Dubai Land Department will do this is on resale properties where a secondary sale can happen, but the person who's selling it will be financing it. So I hope, so this doesn't happen right now, but I wish that this would happen. If the Dubai Land Department allows, what does it allow? That the seller will be able to finance your purchase, which means that they are willing to sell you a property over 5 years. They just price it higher, but they're willing to take that. The issue, I'm not going to say the problem or the issue is, the thing is we don't have a market mechanism at the moment, except for a transaction that's carried on between two individuals and there's an understanding between them. But that takes away a protection for the buyer and the seller as well, and remedies. But if the land department in Dubai said, yes, you can do a sale on a payment plan as long as you agree on that, here are the minimum requirements that you should meet, and then you can register that sale with the land department and it becomes enforceable, it becomes an actual transaction, so on and so forth. Ooh la la, that is going to be an amazing thing, right? So that doesn't happen yet, okay? I've got a question over here. What do you think about I've got a question about Nishama, okay? Any comments on Nishama? Guys, okay, let me give you a quick brief on Nishama, okay? Let's go step back a little bit, okay? Nishama is a government developer. They are not Emaar, but they were, you could say it's kind of like Gillette has another brand of blade that's supposed to be priced slightly lower and in the affordable category. So back in 2013-14, Dubai being Dubai, even now rents are kind of like going up and up and high. The government mandated for developers to build more affordable, like practically more affordable housing, like not just in the prime areas, but more affordable non-prime areas. And Emaar did that under the Nishama brand. But I'm saying Emaar did that. There is a lot of separation, so don't quote me on this. It's Nishama is not Emaar, but it is a government developer, but it's separate. Okay, it's totally separate. Okay, but it takes a lot of its ethos, a lot of its work ethic, not work ethics, the way they operate, the way they do things. They take a lot of that from Emaar. And I'll tell you, the moment that the community started getting delivered, one of the first commercial tenants in there was a Spinneys and a Starbucks, right? So a new community done by a private developer is going to have a tough time getting Spinneys and Starbucks in instantly. But, if you've got connections with the parent, and they're not actually their child, they're separate. But if you've got the right way of doing business, and, Emaar's got Dubai Mall, and all these communities have all these large commercial tenants that provide extra value to the tenants because they had that. Boom, instantly Spinneys goes in there. So knowing that, the way Nishama was, or Town Square was conceptualized, the original townhouses were sold for $1 million dirhams. Those townhouses are well over 2.3 million dirhams today. The way the place was conceptualized, and the way that it has developed is very, very good. Now, is it good for you? You've got to think about that. Is it good for your strategy? You've got to think about that, right? For some people, it's good for their strategy. For some people, it's not good for their strategy. But overall, the quality is okay. They did actually price it lower, and because they priced it lower, there's a few things that were very obvious, like in the townhouses. Oh, nice. That refreshes me. Okay. Bismillah. In the townhouses, the original townhouses had air conditioners, which were they weren't central air conditioners. They were we call them split ACs. They're very, very popular in Pakistan. To see that in 2018, when the first few townhouses were delivered, to see a split air conditioner in a townhouse in Dubai, for a lot of us agents was like, whoa, what happened here? But then I think it was the way it worked was they allowed you to manage each air conditioner for each room separately. So it brings down your maintenance cost, instead of having this one big unit on the roof and then you having to go and get, specialist maintenance companies who can handle large ACs. Almost everybody can handle a small AC. Think about the window AC, but it's not a window AC, it's a split air conditioner. Something like that. It was and of course we thought, oh, this doesn't look very nice, but they were trying to I think save money for you, sell it easier for you, and then keep the maintenance costs down. So you got to look at a lot of things and see if this is good. There is a success story out of Nishama. I want to share with you one success story. So back in 2017, I was working with one of my clients, VIP client. He was in our program to help him generate wealth. And I'll cut a long story short. He had only about 70,000 dirhams at that time, to be honest with you, okay? Only 70,000 dirhams. And 70,000 dirhams is what, $30,000? And when we started evaluating a lot of different opportunities and a lot of different prospects in JVC, in Maidan, in downtown, we were looking a lot, and we were doing our part to evaluate for him, right? Then he goes away, he takes a break. He's like, Fahd, I've got to get married, which is good on him. Alhamdulillah, I'm happy for him. And we take a break, and then he comes back. By the time he comes back, the market's kind of moved. The Nishama townhouses, which were launched in 2015, they are now the original launches were at 1 million, but they're now at 1.3. But the original payment plan was 90/10. Now the payment plan's 30/70, which means you only pay 30% until completion. So while we were doing a lot of work, we find an amazing transaction, an amazing deal of a townhouse, single row in Nishama. And it was one of those cancellations that you pretty much had to make a quick decision. But it was so amazing that we compared it to a building. We were going to buy a top developer in JVC to this townhouse over there. We did a complete pro and cons analysis. We went through the entire process of which one would be better, and we went with the townhouse. Him having only 70, I think by that time he had about 100,000 dirhams. put it into the townhouse, made a few more payments of 100,000 each. By the time he took handover, that townhouse from 1.3 was about 1.7 million. Today, the townhouse could easily fetch about 2.1 million, I believe. Great purchase. Like, that's an amazing success story, if I say so myself. Okay. So there's a few other questions. I want to answer these guys. All right. MSA asks me, how do you see investment in townhouses in Amar South? I think they're good. I think they might still be priced at the lower end. So I think you should try to get in there. And 3 years or 2 years ago, we were saying it's a 7 years window. Now that 7 years window is 5 years. And again, it's good, but you've got to look at your personal thing. Like, for instance, guys, I'll tell you this. If you're going to go and buy an Amar South today and you're trying to liquidate after 1 year or 2 years, you might not make money. So you've got to know this. Like, if your liquidity or resellability fast is important to you, and this is what we look at, right? When we're developing a real estate development strategy to build your portfolio for you, we're looking at these things. Like, if resellability, liquidity, you've got a marriage coming up, you got to send your kids to school, you're not secure in your job. If this is important for you, then don't go to Amar South. If you can take a punt and wait a little bit, it will turn out okay. It'll turn out good. But you're just going to have to wait, right? So you've got to have like that thing about being patient. Okay. Khatija, hi. Thank you very much. Wishing me the best. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. Appreciate it. Halamoy, I've already answered your question. I hope you've got the answer. Ehtizaz Afzal, Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. He has a question. Any comments on Nisham? I've already answered. I want to know how I can get a job from India. Well, what kind of job are you looking for? Things are getting a little bit tight, okay? For everybody who's trying to get a job from India or Pakistan, I think that, Dubai is going to go down the route of how things were or are in the UK or Canada or New York. Like, before, Dubai used to encourage, like, you can just come here on a tourist visa, look for a job, you get a job, you can move in. I think Dubai's at that tipping point where too many people come over here. They might not sometimes get a job, they might overstay at their visas, and I think that the United Arab Emirates is not in that space. Like, they want you to come here as a genuine tourist, or if you have a job. If you're looking for a job from India, I can't say that it's impossible. You can just apply online, work on your resume, call people in person. It does help you if you're based over here, obviously. It does help you if you're in Dubai and you've got a local Dubai mobile number. Because some companies, they're really looking to hire locally because their positions need to be filled up fast. So if you're not in that category to be headhunted, then you might want to be over here. Right, Anu? Okay, no, you got hired from abroad. So you're not a good candidate to ask that question. Sanka. Or you need a friend. Oh, I forgot this live example. You need a friend who's already working in a UAE Dubai company, and they can recommend you, right? And they believe that you're of value to their company. Then that can also work out, right? That's one of the ways. When starting career in real estate, Neogen, should you focus on one particular area or more? You should focus on gaining as much expertise and knowledge as possible. Now, that might include not focusing in one area. And I'll give you an example, okay? If you're really, really good and you've done real estate a lot already, then that's okay. You can focus in one area. But if you've not done enough real estate, focusing in one area might not give you enough deal flow to be able to learn about real estate. So what ends up happening is, if you're focused in one area, but your senior mentor is working on a transaction, it is your duty to go to him and say, hey, can I help you with this? Can I do something? Can I drive you? Can I drop you a check? Can I do anything? Can I do the viewings for you? Now, those viewings, those clients are not going to be in the same area. And, God forbid that you feel so entitled that you would have to do a viewing for free. I've done them for my mentors, okay? What does that do? It takes you out into the real world. So you're not focused only in one place, and you should be doing that, okay? So don't focus in one place. It's not going to, in my opinion, if you're trying to learn and get experience, okay? But if you really know real estate already, then maybe. project Prince CC. Sir, did you watch the video I edited for you? Sorry, no, I did not. The team might have seen it. Yeah, they saw it. Okay, was it good? Okay, they've already replied to you. Lord Saad, Akil Bek, Assalamu alaikum. Everybody who's here, Assalamu alaikum. Amir saying video in background is not live. Okay, don't worry about it. It might actually sometimes lag a little bit. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Amir Raval. Assalamu alaikum. Dubai Hijab Abaya. Assalamu alaikum. Salam sir. Walaikum salam. What are your thoughts about Azizi Venice as an investment? Realtors on board. Good question. I've not looked at the project. Maybe we should do a full review on Azizi Venice and put it. Sorry guys, it's gonna be behind a paywall just to let you know. Azizi Venice. Yeah, I haven't looked at the project, to be honest with you. I would say, look, if you want to know about the project, go to Azizi's current development, Riviera, and just visit it. I have not visited it myself, so just go and visit it. I think some of my colleagues have visited. They said it looks pretty good, pretty decent. So go and visit, and then you'll actually you'll know more. YouTube? Oh yeah, I see a question. MSA. Do you know what MSA used to stand for? Muslim Students Association. in Toronto. At least Hassan's laughing. All right, MSA, let me answer your question. I'm sure you're not the Muslim Students Association. Maybe you are somebody else, but let me answer. Thanks for your follow-up, actually. Thanks. I've already invested and living there and loving it. That's, you know what? That's really good to know as live feedback, right? Because Imar South is literally about 40-45 minutes away from even Mall of the Emirates, which is even 20 minutes away from downtown. But what I've noticed is people have started living there, and people have started saying, hey, we like living there. And they say that they like to, they like the quiet, the peace, and, that's great. Muhammad Shariq Ansari. Okay, you're not the Muslim Students Association. Okay. All right, thanks for your full name. Now it's out there in the public. Thank you. Muhammad, good to meet you. MSA, thanks. I have already invested in living there. So he's already living in Dubai South. One more question. If someone have additional 400,000, should one consider to pay off the loan or use this as a down payment of next property? Both. Really both. I'm not a big fan of loans. Like, people know this. Like, I don't like interest-based things. I personally, in the Dubai market, have not seen interest-based loans work out favorably for people. I think the developer financing, that's amazing. That's gold. Use that. And that's going to, I don't like to say this, but it's going to start becoming more difficult. You will see. Developers will start becoming more choosy who they give the payment plan to. Now, that might be in the form of post-dated checks. If you're a local resident, they might look at your credit score in your country. Yeah, honest to God, like, developers might start doing that because Dubai, like, at some stage, developers are going to be like, okay, listen, if you want to buy and you're committing to this payment plan, we want to know that you're going to fulfill your commitments. Might come. So with regards to your loan, look, it's completely up to you. Like, if you've got the excess cash and paying off the loan, with the current interest rates and the profit rates, which are so high, like, if you can pay that off and get rid of the liability, that's good. If you've got a good opportunity, see, the thing is, you've got to use that 400 wisely. You've got to have a team that's helping you. So we've got the Dubai Wealth Builder program. Join us, right? We do have a fee to enter the program and work with us. But, you've got to think through and invest in the right place. So if you can invest in the right place, that's a good fit for your 400,000. Good. Otherwise, pay off the loan, right? That's also possible. Wajahat, hello Fahad. Oh, hi. How are you? Okay, guys, any more questions, please don't hesitate. Put them through. Let me answer some of these questions that I've received online. So this is from Nagy. My eyes are good. Nagy7586. Can you open an account in Dubai while living in the UK? Yes, you can, under certain circumstances, okay? Not the most easiest thing to do, just to let you know. It is a little bit challenging, but I've had people open bank accounts with international banks. So with HSBC, Standard Charter. So what you would generally do is approach those banks in your local countries and say, look, I'd like you to help me please open a local bank account over here. This is if you don't want to visit the country. If you want to visit the country, then you are open to visit any of the local banks and apply. Okay. We do have a partner referral network where we have partners who help people open bank accounts, right? If all your things and paperwork's legit, legal, in order, they'll help you do that. Things were a little bit difficult last year to open bank accounts in Dubai because of XYZ reasons. Things were very busy. Dubai requirements to make sure that all your wealth is kosher has really tightened up, beefed up, you can say. So that's you can still do it. You just got to explore the avenues, right? So one avenue is try your local international bank in your country and then locally here. Okay. MSA, trust me, now it's more convenient. So this is the gentleman who's living in Imar South. It's more convenient for me to go to my office in Media City. That's good. I agree with you because Media City, you know, it's closer to that place. Before I had to take Hesta, and 16 kilometer usually takes about 50 minutes. Now 35 minutes non-stop to the office. Okay, see, like, so you asked me a question, right? This is very, very good. This is a very valid point. This is how real estate in Dubai I've seen operated over the last 10, 15 years. Imar South, everybody considered to be far. Now what's going to happen is, you see how you're sitting and working in Dubai Media City. Now we know there's Dubai Media City, Knowledge Village or Consulting Village. I don't know if the name's changed now. It's under TCOM, right? And then there's Internet City. Internet City has Microsoft, Oracle, all of this. Then there's a lot of commercial space in Jebel Ali. You know, there's offices there. There's a lot of space in TCOM. Now what's going to happen? Just like you're sharing your opinion here, I'm sure that you're sharing your opinion with your colleagues as well. So what's going to happen is you're going to be like, yeah, man, it's so good, so peaceful. You know, the weather's nice at night because, you know, we're a little bit in the open area there and it's a little bit desert around you, but it's so nice. If you got a car, you can go there, walk around and, you know, it's so good and there's no traffic. And guess what? The rent's lower, etc. So what happens is now everybody in Media City in TCOM starts thinking, okay, they could live there. So now you're seeing they're going there and buying houses there. Right, Ghassan? No? Prices are high. Where? Imar South? Yeah, TCOM. That's the thing. This guy would tell his friend, why are you staying in a 3-bedroom or a 2-bedroom in TCOM where there is no place for the kids to play downstairs, right? There's no parks, right? TCOM? Some parks, but it's not a kids-friendly area, right? There's all these clubs and pubs and, right? Okay, yeah, but if you go there on a Thursday night, Friday night, it's like party central, isn't it? Some music. Okay. Some within reason, but now he'll tell his friend, like, come to Imar South. You got gardens, play area, kids cannot take the bicycle downstairs in TCOM. Actually, it's no longer called TCOM, right? It's called something else. Okay. It's TCOM. Barsha South or Barsha Heights or something like that, right? So, see, MSA is already telling me this. My 5 other colleagues also bought here after my opinion and experience on Imar South. See, he's confirming what I'm saying. See? Thank you, MSA. Like, you know, looks like we know what we're talking about. This is what's going to happen, right? So you bought, then you told other people to buy, and then they came. Now they're going to tell their families. Now you've got like this group of people over there who are like, okay, man, I'll like to buy there as well. And you all building a community there. And, you know, like, lo and behold, soon we'll see, wow, like that place has its own organic nascent demand for everybody who's like, you know, working in GE, in Media City or TCOM or Jebel Ali. They're like, yeah, we want to go to Imar South. We don't want to pay rent in Barsha. That's the stuff. Okay, dear Mary, Assalamu alaikum, Mariam. Good to see you on this live. Hope you're very well. Some experienced realtors here. Mariam's a very experienced realtor, guys. I am sure. I'm doing job. I want to buy a room and rent out in the area of Wood Metha. Give me suggestions. You want to buy a room? Rooms are not for sale in Dubai. Rooms are not for sale. Okay, so that's, you can rent a room and re-rent it out or re-lease it. Okay. Have I missed any questions? Faisal, hi, assalamu alaikum. Wajahat is saying, I'm taking all the training possible to become the best. That's good. I want to become very successful in my life. I'm taking all training wherever it is happening. Alhamdulillah. Wajahat, all the training you're taking, keep going and keep working. Just sometimes, can I give you any advice? You're not looking for any advice, so continue doing what you're doing. Okay, alhamdulillah. I've got a question here from this. I gotta really answer this question. So you guys gotta make sure this guy gets the answer, all right, guys? Because if he's not in this live, then cut it out. Can you guys cut it out somehow? Okay. So this is Uruj Sima 7658. Okay, and this is the question he asks, and I really want to answer him because it's a very long question. Hi Fahd, I'm starting on Monday, and he names the agency. Okay, it's I don't want to name the agency, but okay, I think it's in the middle range. So he's taking the name of the agency and then calling it in the middle range. But I think when he says middle range, I think he means that they're mid-size, right? Okay, doesn't mean that they're mid-quality. They might be one of the best, but they're mid-size. That's fine. I think it's in the. I'm Bahraini, so visa doesn't apply to GCC national. So fine, so you don't need a visa. It's my first time in real estate without RERA, Real Estate Regulatory Authority certificate. Wajad, I'll have a look at your question. I think I missed it. Can you just put it again? And I'll answer it. So anyways, they hired me and will train me. Good. Very good. But I just want your advice. Is real estate easy? So I'm going to hold that thought. Okay. So he's asking me, is real estate easy? Because this company said no basic, only commission, and I live in Sharjah. So he lives in Sharjah and drives. So I can easily save for 6 months, but is the job easier? Twice he asked me easy. Now I can see that he asked me twice. Is it easy? I have 6 months worth of money to survive. I have a car. I live in Sharjah. I don't need a visa. Realistically, most of the list doesn't apply to me, but RERA, I don't have it all. Just want your kind. So first of all, you have to get RERA. Just try to get it as soon as you are ready. Don't work in Dubai without you being RERA certified, okay? Number one. See, when I read your question first time, I felt that you were somebody who was really going to do well in the industry because, you're taking the risk that's necessary, right? So you moved here from Bahrain. You're living in Sharjah, that's fine, but you've got a car. But you keep asking me twice it's easy. Look, it's easy. They say it's simple, but it's not easy, or it's easy, but it's not simple. Like, guys, listen, it's kind of like, I'm gonna give you brass tacks, okay? Very, very simple, okay? If somebody was 100 kg and their ideal weight was 75, so let's say they're about 25 kgs overweight. If you asked me, is it easy to go to 75 kg? What am I going to say? Yes, it's easy. What do you need to do? Control what you eat. Don't eat sugar. Exercise. Be disciplined. Simple. Well, like, how complicated is that, right? So you're not building a rocket ship in real estate in Dubai. You're not really looking to land a ship on Mars, or you're not looking to send like Elon a spaceship or space shuttle into the atmosphere and then have it land back. That's maybe that's easy for Elon, but that's complicated, right? So that's complicated, right? You guys understand that? Real estate, it's easy. Just figure out the basics and do the basics, and you'll be okay. The one thing I would recommend when you're coming and traveling from Sharjah is the traffic's pretty horrendous. Okay, one thing I would tell you is commit to this. Be the first one in the office in the morning and be the last one to leave. Sorry if that sounds harsh, and perhaps it actually goes against my own opinion as well, that you don't have to be the hardest working to get the best results, but you've got to really be the first and the last, like seriously, like in the beginning. Especially I'm giving you advice with respect to Sharjah traffic. If you come, if you start work at 10, 11, forget about it. It's not going to work out for you. At the same time, if you go home early, sorry, it's going to be challenging, okay? Wajahat, yeah, I'm interested to take your program and complete it from you since I've been following you quite long, so let me know if it is affordable. I think we launched the mentorship program like at $3,000 some while ago, but we've stopped it. We will relaunch it at some stage. I don't know what price we're going to put on it. I personally, whether it's $3,000, $5,000, whatever the price is, I always look at training as an investment. And a lot of here's the thing: you're in the business to helping people invest in assets. Let's talk about yourself. Have you invested in anything? Maybe, maybe not. But what's the one main asset that you have to, or should have, or should invest in? Yourself, right? So any kind of training that you can take, and you don't have to take my program. Like, you could go to Udemy, like buy programs for $30, $20, $50. Ryan Serhant has great programs. I've never taken any of his programs, but he's got good programs. Take one of those programs and just go berserk, right? Okay, so Orichi-sama, I'm telling you, it's going to be simple. Just do the basics. You got the 6 months of money to last. It's good, but you gotta work. You do your thing every day and be focused, okay? And don't make negative friends in real estate, okay? The other guys who are not making money, don't hang around with them. Don't take breaks with them. Don't hang around. Don't talk to them. Don't listen to them, okay? Because you're gonna attract each other, and then it's not gonna be good. All right. If the seller is the builder himself, same conditions apply. Listen, I don't know what you're asking me. This is off a video about landlord changes, and I'm not sure what it was about. To be honest with you, don't know. Sorry, guys. I can't answer this question. Maybe we'll answer it next time. Okay. All right, guys. Listen, I don't see any more questions coming out on on Instagram, and I don't see any questions on YouTube. Please, guys, if you guys have questions, you can put them in the comment section as well. Sometimes I'll take a question of yours and put it on a video, and I'll release a video, and I will name you in the title, and that way you can actually then see the video afterwards. Everybody who was here, thank you very much for coming in. Everybody on YouTube who asked me questions, appreciate it. Everybody asked me over here on Instagram, I appreciate it. Guys, generally we go live on Saturdays. I look forward to having you join me again on a Saturday. For now, I bid you adieu. Wajad always has one question, last minute question. Okay, bless you. People are most of the times after receiving call, they straight away say we're not interested, even though they were interested. Okay, people are most of the times after receiving call, they straight away say we're not interested, even though they were interested. Yeah, it's okay, no worries. Sometimes they're not interested in talking to you. Like, it happens. Don't take it personally. Like, so in that, do you think we should talk with them after a few days? Yeah. Guys, listen, develop a polite, firm, confident demeanor. Practice. I'll give you one course, Wajahad. Like, look at Jordan Belfort's course on, how to speak on the phone. But, there's a lot of free videos there. When you call somebody, you've got to be very straight to the point, a man of purpose, with confidence, and say, like, for instance, let's say if I'm calling you, Wajahad, I'm going to be like, hi, Wajahad, good morning. Wait for you to say good morning. This is Fahd from FD Global Properties. How are you? I generally say, how are you? Sometimes it works for some people. Sometimes it doesn't. But if I've already gotten a response for good morning, they will generally give me a response on how are you. Now that I've got them, listen, I don't want to take much of your time. The reason I'm calling is because you filled up this form to get more details on this specific project that has a great payment plan. Good time to speak right now? No, Wajahad, call me tomorrow, same time. Listen, no problem. Sending your WhatsApp with my name and number. Let's speak tomorrow so we can get the details across to you and I can actually set up a meeting. Also, in my first call, Jordan Belfort, okay? It's Belfort. On my first call, guys, remember, on your first call, you're not selling them the project. Your first call, Wajahad, should be just to get them to the next stage. The next stage is just to get them into a meeting with you, to have that conversation. So if you call them and you're trying to get them to buy the product, very, very tough, yeah? Can happen sometimes, but don't do this, okay? All right, okay, can we end now? Thank you very much for everybody who was here. We've gone on for 40 minutes. I hope we were talking some sense and hope people can actually benefit from that. Thank you, everybody who was here. MSA, Wajahad, everybody else who I didn't name, but thank you. Appreciate it. All right, Wajad, thank you. Done. Thanks. Appreciate it. Talk to you guys on the next live. See you later. Bye for now.